It's always something. Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. I came into the studio tonight to a most wonderful thing. As you know, I've been talking about how, my birthday was coming up, and I was trying to push my birthday dogs, and I'm going to just say real quick that still none of them have gone home. Alan is still having a really hard time, and I can't express to you guys enough that if you could share the dogs that are my birthday dogs, if you could share that night's show, these dogs really need to go home. There's like 8 of them that are just really good dogs that need to find their niche. That would be the best thing I could ever ask for, is for these dogs to find homes. But anyway, yes, my birthday was Wednesday, and Zach surprised me this evening with my birthday present, and I'm going to tell you, it gives me goosebumps because it's the most amazing thing ever. You all know that Zach likes to draw, and he is amazing at it. He's just, he drew me his very first dog for Christmas, and I showed you all that, and it was nothing short of fantastic. And he put peace, love, and dogs on it. And he let me know tonight that he would have my birthday present waiting for me, and he did. And I'm going to share with you, I hope you can see, because I obviously didn't have time to take a picture of it, but this is the most amazing picture of course, a pit bull, and absolutely does say peace, love, and dogs on it. Zach got like the pit bull face 1000%. He's got the expression, he's got the eyes, he's got such beautiful colors. There's a little heart on the cheek. I wish I could show it to you as a close-up or have it like on the board so that you guys could see it. But this means more to me than anything in the entire world other than getting those dogs homes. Anyway, Zach, I can't thank you enough. This is amazing. If you want to see it close up, better, whatever, I am going to post it on the Posse Presents Facebook page, but that probably won't be until tomorrow because someone's not going to be home very early tonight, but we'll leave that story for another time, and there probably will be stories. But anyway, perfectly executed pit bull, just the most amazing thing, gives me chills. It's beautiful. Zach, you are amazing, and I can't thank you enough, and I'm going to put that right here to sit with me for the rest of the show because I am so proud of my birthday present. All right, speaking of birthdays, we'll get to that. I'm going to start out tonight and come back to the whole birthday theme by talking about a little dog that I can't believe what happens to animals sometimes. There was a little guy, let's put him up, who was bought on Craigslist. And you can flip back and forth between these, Zach, that's fine. He was bought on Craigslist, and the sequence of events between his purchase and his surrender to a shelter are a little uncertain. But the seller bolted right after, pretty much getting handed money and putting the dog in this person's hands. The dog ended up being surrendered to the shelter. And, the shelter noticed that he didn't smell too good. Something just wasn't right. And they took him to the vet, and it seems that his teeth were all rotted and infected, and they needed to be pulled. So this poor little guy, somebody knew that he wasn't in good shape, put him up for sale on Craigslist. The poor person was probably, not expecting to have that kind of thing. And I don't know, I don't know. I don't understand people. But now this poor little guy had all his teeth pulled, and of course he's feeling better. When a dog's teeth are infected and, there's a lot of tartar and everything, it could lead to so many more problems. You know, the bacteria can get into the bloodstream and affect the heart, and so many things that it can happen. And so, yeah, the shelter's got him now. And, you know, I'm sure the person who bought him got a lot more than they bargained for and probably feel really duped. But the bottom line is this poor dog now got pretty much dumped and then dumped again. So here's this little toothless guy who they're saying is the sweetest little nugget. He's available for adoption. They're saying he's about 9 years old. He is neutered. He seems good with other animals, you know, but it's kind of hard to tell. The fact that he's good with animals is promising, but they're going to have to be very careful placing him, because at the end of the day, if there's any kind of confrontation, he's not going to be able to defend himself with no teeth. So, yeah, they're going to have to place him very carefully. But he's loving. He just wants a lap to sit on. He wants, you know, it's got to have been awful for him. It really has. And, you know, he's a good boy. So if somebody is interested in him, wants to scoop him up and love him, that would be awesome. They're calling him Scrappy, which is kind of cute. And, yeah, he's at the North Haven Animal Control. And their number is 203-239-5321, extension 250. Once again, that's 203-239-5321, and it's extension 250. I don't understand, you know. I honestly think that there's so much we see of animals getting dumped that have health problems because people can't afford to care for them. And I get that. And I really wish that there was something in place to help people. You know, I really do, because this stuff doesn't have to happen. You know, it's really hard when an animal all of a sudden has an emergency. You know, you can criticize people for saying, oh, you're not able to take care of an animal if you can't provide for emergencies and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, there are certain things that this preventative care, anything could have helped this dog along the way. And we don't know what the person's story was, but people who abandon them just are not doing the right thing, you know? And I really wish that people weren't driven to that point for the lack of assistance. If that person would have even gotten it, I don't know. But here's this little guy, and I think he's probably going to make somebody an awesome pet. And just because he's older doesn't mean that, you know, he doesn't have any time left, because little dogs, he could be around for a while. And his twilight years should be his best years. So once again, North Haven Animal Control, 203-239-5321, extension 250. And I will take the camera back for a minute or so. Back to the whole birthday theme. You know, I posted on Facebook, you know, pets shouldn't be presents. It's really never a good idea. Unless, of course, it's a present to yourself and it's the night before your birthday and the adoption that you've been trying to make happen, happens, it gets approved, and you don't want another little old guy to spend another night in the pound. So I'm going to rewind for a second. And Zach, let's put up the first picture. This little guy, somebody, of course, tagged me, thank you, Candace, to his picture as being picked up by a pound, lost, you know, found, whatever. He was on stray hold. And I went to the pounds page and I looked at him and I just, look at that face. He's just so cute. And so, you know, I thought, all right, well, let's see where this goes. So thanks to Debbie, we went up to meet him. And let's get the next couple of pictures up. You can flip back and forth between those. I barely had my big fat behind planted on the ground. and he was in my lap. And there he is. He was just such a little love, in my lap, wanting love, wanting affection. He was just a real mellow little guy. And I was like, okay, he's still on stray hold, so there hadn't been any sense at all in bringing the girls with me because, who knew where it was going to go? So I filled out the paperwork and I waited out his stray hold to see where it would go. And then he became available. So the next couple of pictures are, we brought the girls, thanks to Lisa, up to meet the little guy. And I would say it went pretty well. You can scroll through those, yep. I would say it went pretty well. Everybody was pretty chill and, just kind of like hanging out. And there was no bad vibes, no drama. Bella was Bella, but she got over herself really quickly. So they just kind of like all just chilled and got used to each other. And, when they were over the excitement of meeting somebody new, they just hung out. So, of course, there was the application process and, a few little things that I had to do and whatever to meet the requirements. But that led to the night before my birthday, them telling me, okay, you can take them. So here I am after work. I really didn't expect it to happen quite like that. But just so he could not have to spend another night in the pound, there I was running up to get him. And Zach, let's get those pictures of him at home. There he is the first night just chilling on the couch. And that was the next morning on the chair. And he pretty much claimed the bed that I had taken down that used to be Kelly's that I put down for Gidget because she was always at my feet by the computer. And, he's blended in pretty well. That was the first night. Everybody was just, kind of in their own corners, but it's all good. And yeah, my couch is covered in sheets and everything else, but, it's a high mileage couch with all the animals I've had in there. What makes a house a home, but having all the animals around. So, here he is. And, my belief of his backstory is that he was probably an older person's dog. And he's not young. I would have said he was probably about 7 or so. And they did take him to the vet, and the vet put him at maybe 10. And by his teeth, his teeth are a little yellow, so I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe they could be right. But either way, a little old guy didn't have to spend another night in the pound. And I think he was an old person's dog. I don't know why I believe that, but I do. Maybe just for his chill little personality. And if he's that old, who knows? Maybe he got out of the house when somebody came in or out. Maybe his old person passed away and they just let him go. Family members just let him go, or he ran out the door when they weren't paying attention and didn't care. If he was an old person's dog, I think they probably didn't know how to look for him with all the social media and, everything else. Who knows? But I get the sense that he was an old person's dog. It just wasn't right, like I said, to have him wait for the weekend. So, he's settling in, and not for nothing, settling in is hard for a dog. Some do it better than others, and I'll take the camera back after you get through these. They're used to their own sunbeams. They're used to everything that they've known, especially a dog that's spent most or all of its life with the same person or the same family. They're looking for home. Every time you take them out, they think they're going home. They don't realize that you're their home. They're looking for what they know. They're looking for what they're familiar with. They don't understand. You know, some shelter dogs were separated unintentionally from their families, maybe by being stolen or by being truly lost. Maybe they were surrendered because the people truly couldn't care for them, or it wasn't, you know, a good situation. You know, not all shelter dogs were unloved or abused or neglected. You know, they find themselves separated from an entire life that they knew, and they're missing their families. They're not understanding why they aren't going home. You know, you may be nice and the people at the shelter were nice, but okay, enough. Where's my people? Where's my family? I get that. It's just, it breaks my heart. You know, all these dogs in shelters it just breaks my heart. But you know, it takes dogs time to settle in, and it takes them time to feel at home and safe and to understand, you know, the routine. You can't explain it to them. And even if you could explain it to them, we all know the feeling of a breakup, of a separation, of a loss, of your situation, of a loved one. And dogs have those feelings. I don't care what anybody tells me. You know, you take a dog that you have, that's yours, that, you know, you love and you leave the room, the dog's going crazy. So imagine you just left the room, you left their life. And that's a bad thing. That hurts my heart, and it's got to hurt their heart too, you know. You can't explain it to them, and their sense of loss is real. Their sense of being displaced is real. Yeah, some dogs do settle in more quickly than others. They're just kind of like easy like that. But again, a dog that has spent all or most of its time in a particular situation, all of that's gone. All of the familiarity that they ever had. And people need to learn to have patience. That's how adoptions end up not working out. A lot of times it's because people don't have patience to see the animal through that initial bump in the road. That it's not a roadblock, it's just a bump in the road. You know, these older dogs, you know, they're looking for what they know. They had a name their whole lives. Now, most of the times, their name is just a secret that belongs to their past. You don't know their name. They miss being called their name, I'm sure. They have to learn a new one. Again, some dogs will do that easily, but they don't understand why you're not calling to them the same way that they were called to all their lives. You know, the dog's favorite bed is gone. The dog's favorite chair is gone from its life. Its favorite toy, its favorite blanket, its favorite whatever. You know, it's all just a memory. You know, there's got to be some favorite way that their person addressed them or played with them or pet them or scratched them or hugged them or carried them. That's all gone. You know, shelter dogs need to be understood instead of, you know, thought of as garbage by a lot of people. And they do. The people think that sheltered dogs just are damaged and whatever, and that's not the case. You know, there's so many things that a shelter dog, when it goes home, needs just time. And again, I'm appealing to people who don't give it time. You've got to. It's usually a person's fault and not a dog's fault when things don't work out. You know, it's a selfishness on a person's part. It's expectations that are unrealistic on the person's part to expect a dog to come in and assimilate a whole new life. You know, it might be hard to get them to eat. It might be hard to teach them a new routine. And not even hard, but it requires the time and the commitment, which is like a four-letter word to a lot of people. It requires the commitment to make it work. You don't just meet somebody and be like, okay, let's get married and live happily ever after. Yeah, all right, you know, I know some people, whatever. But it's the same thing. You've got to build and establish the relationship and the trust. And, you know, you just can't expect too much all at once. You know, I've I've had to teach the little guy, and I have a name, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm kind of calling him Little Man because he's the little man of the house. He's smaller than Bella, he's smaller than Gidget. He's older than Bella, not as old as Gidget probably, but he's Little Man. I've had to teach Little Man the ropes. You know, I've had to, when he walked in the house, he just wanted to lift his little leg everywhere, but I had him on the leash and I stopped him. You know, he got a few squirts in, but now he realizes that if he goes to the door, I'll take him out. Now he knows the routine. When we get up in the morning, we're gonna go out. If I have him in his crate, he comes out, he goes right out. You know, there's gonna be, at least on a work day, a set routine. This is our first Saturday. There was a little different, but he was a glorified just being able to be home and be cuddling and you know, whatever. So he caught on quickly. You know, my screen door, I have a screen porch, and it's like screen on either side of the door. He keeps thinking he can go through the screen. He doesn't quite get the door, but he's getting better. But that takes like patience, and you know, I'm not gonna like yank him and be crazy. You gotta give him time, he'll figure it out. Sometimes he does better than others trying to get in the house. You know, he gave me a little bit of a run for my money with trying to get him to eat. He doesn't like this, he doesn't like that, he doesn't like something else. Little stinker like the rotisserie chicken. Thank you, I'm a vegetarian, because in my house, you know, you have to eat. I'm Italian and Greek. You have to eat. I don't care. But you know, it's trial and error. It's reminded me. You know, people in rescue understand all the things that people have to go through to assimilate a pet. People who foster understand all the things that have to happen to assimilate a pet into a home. People who haven't had a dog in a while or haven't brought in a new dog in a while, it's an impatience. They want everything to be just right all of a sudden and from the get-go. And it's just not. So like I said, me going through all of this with Little Man, it brings to the forefront the challenges that other people would be facing, but you've got to make that commitment. It's like really not that big a deal. It's just like when, I don't know, your kid learns to walk and you've got to like teach them how they're not supposed to go near certain stuff and whatever. It's all a process. You wouldn't just give your kid up because, you know, they were walking and knocked something over. I don't know. Maybe you should. Maybe that's how people should be. Maybe that'll be next. I don't know. But I guess my appeal is just to have the patience and don't give up on an animal the instant something doesn't seem right, you know? Young or old, a pet needs a lot of patience to make it in a new environment. And you have to be compassionate and look at it from their point of view. It's just my rant for tonight. And I hope that people, you know, you can reach out for help. There's a lot of people, your rescue should support you. Your animal control officer, if you get it from a pound, should support you in making a pet's first day is a lot easier, you know. And I know this is a bit of a rant, but like I said, it's at the forefront, so I just decided to go for it. And I know we only have a little bit left, so I just want to bring up that next Sunday, July 24th, from 12 to 5, Pet Playhouse and the Wallingford Moose Riders are presenting their annual bike show. And there will be vendors and raffles, and of course the bake sale, which I'm going to be in charge of. So I do, and Zach will be there with me. He's like all excited. He's jumping up and down in there. You know, so I do still need bakers. If there are any bakers that want to bake for the bake sale, please let me know. Either message me on Facebook or you can email me at pawprints713@aol.com. That's PAWPRINTS 713@aol.com. Let me know that you're interested in baking, and you know, we'll hook up if I have to pick stuff up or meet you or whatever, or if you're coming and you want to drop it off, that's great. But anyway, from 12 to 5 is the event. It's at Pet Playhouse in Milldale, Connecticut. It's always a great time. A portion of the proceeds will go to local animal rescues. If you need more information about the event, you can call 860-426-9640. Once again, that's 860-426-9640. And yes, you can email me or message me on Facebook if you want to bake. That's pretty much the point of a bake sale is to have baked goods, so that would be good. Again, you can email me at pawprints713@aol.com. Now, as soon as I have this picture uploaded, I will have it on the Pound Posse Presents Facebook page. Thank you again, Zach, for this amazing. I can't wait to I'm going to have a lot of fun framing this, because this is too gorgeous for words. I know, I can already tell that just seeing it on camera, I'm looking at the monitor, doesn't do it justice. The expression on this dog's face is just unbelievable. It's just amazing. And I may even have to make it like my profile picture or something like that. It's that good. So anyway, welcome home to my little man, and stay tuned. The name that I think I'm going to give him kind of has a story, and I think you guys will appreciate that. Please go to your local shelters and adopt. Please remember, my birthday dogs are still out there, and it's never too late to make that birthday wish come true, because, you know, these dogs that I picked for a reason. I know they're harder sells, but, you know, every dog deserves a home. And the dogs that I picked some of them have stories, some of them are waiting for a long time. One, at least, is probably going to run out of time. Another one is totally suffering from kennel stress. Like I said, Alan is just, he's fallen apart, and it's not fair. He really needs to get out of there, even if it's to a foster home. So enough of that. I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. I'm going out to celebrate my birthday. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.